Hello nerds, welcome back to another video. Gabriella here with another book haul, this time with a spring theme. I won't let the theme hide the fact that yes, it's another book haul. Worry not, all the books bought today were bought through Bookoutlet, and if you don't know, Bookoutlet is a store online and in person here in Canada that gives book at a lesser price. None of the books I bought were actually over $8, so I'm really happy about that. So before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe and smash that little bell icon so you can be notified of every new video. Let's get to it. So actually the first item I wanted to haul in this video is actually not a book, but it is a bookish item. So I got myself the Golden Egg candle from Charmed Aroma. I saw this on a Reels on Instagram and I was like, gotta have it. So I snatched it for myself, and I was really excited. However, super sad news, almost cried. It came in broken. So basically this is a candle. If you don't know, Charmed Aroma is a company that makes candles, and inside their candles they hide jewelry. I have quite a few of their candles, some of their Harry Potter limited editions, and this one seemed the most extra of the Harry Potter special edition candles they have ever offered. So I was really excited and I snatched that up in a second after seeing it on Instagram. But yeah, it opens up like this. But yeah, it's broken. There's quite a big piece that's supposed to fit on here. If you can't see. Yeah, and if you can't see, the wax starts here, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm going to have to find some sort of glue that I can glue this back together because I don't want the wax to go everywhere. Otherwise, this candle is awesome and it smells amazing. And inside the candle, there is going to be a necklace. Charmed Aroma does necklaces, rings, and bracelets. By the way, this is not sponsored. I bought this with my own money. Yeah, inside there is a necklace that is of the golden egg and it even opens and everything. So that was really cute. So I still get to get the necklace whenever I figure out how to glue this piece back together. But Charmed Aroma was nice enough when I showed them the pictures of the candle and how broken it was. They were very nice and very efficient in getting me a replacement. Unfortunately, the egg had sold out for obvious reasons, so I ended up snatching instead Hedwig, my little Hedwig. It's a much smaller candle, but it was from the same sort of limited edition Harry Potter candle set. It also smells outstanding. The egg smells a lot stronger and a lot more sweet. This one smells a lot more, I don't know, chill. Like it's still in a sweeter, more a bit floral, but it's a really nice scent. I can leave it burning for a while without being intoxicated. It's just so cute. I'm definitely, when I'm done with this candle, I'm definitely gonna wash it and use this like as some sort of mug or glass or whatever. Inside is also a necklace and is a Hedwig team necklace. This one I don't know exactly which one it will be. But there are going to be different Hedwig themed possibilities for the necklace and that. So I was really happy that I still got to have a replacement, and now I get my egg and I get my owl and they look great on my bookshelf. So as I mentioned previously, all the books bought today were through Bookoutlet. I got one large order since it's free shipping over $45. I had made the unconscious decision before the year started that I wanted to read more authors of color in general, but also specifically more Black authors to support my brothers and sisters, and also to read more Asian authors because I felt like that was definitely a group of people that were highly underrepresented in not only the book community in general, but specifically on my own bookshelf and in my personal reading experience. So I really wanted to enrich myself into those different cultures and read about stories outside of North America and Europe where most stories are set. Of course, this purchase was made right before the attack that happened on March 16th. I have made a little mention in my last video. Since it was pre-recorded, I couldn't talk about it. So I will talk about it today. But basically, the attacks on the Asian community are disgusting, horrible, and we need to be able to learn, educate ourselves, educate others, and help the AAPI community as much as possible, because the staggering amount of attacks, racist comments, and other related incidents that have happened to the Asian community, both in the States, here in Canada, and all over the world since the beginning of the pandemic have been just unimaginable. And as someone who is also part of a minority, as a woman, as a Black woman, daughter of immigrants, I definitely feel for them, and I definitely want to stand with them as much as possible. If you feel the same way as me, all the links you will need down below to learn, educate yourself, help, and to donate to help end hate against the Asian community. All of that will be linked down below for you to find out more. So now let's get into the first book, which was written by Mary H.K. Choi, and it is Permanent Record. I was really interested in this book. One of my favorite booktubers, who is Books with Chloe, I'll link her channel down below. She is Asian Australian, and she really loves Mary H.K. Choi, so I knew I had to buy some of her books. I actually bought 2 in this book haul, and I really wanted to read Permanent Record. It's a love story, and it's a little bit different, and of course I love own voices and Asian stories, and like I said, I wanted more Asian authors, so that was definitely a necessary pickup for me. I was really happy that Bookoutlet actually had the paperback, because if you don't know, the paperback, as you can notice, the dust jacket is really shiny, and it's because it's transparent. So you see the blue man here, he disappears, and it makes an image like all around the book, which is really cool. And yeah, the paperback obviously doesn't, but the paperback is a lot less expensive than the hardback, so I'm happy I could snatch the hardback for this one. Next is another Mary H.K. Choi book, and it is Emergency Contact. Again, another love story. This one is through texts, which I find so interesting, because in this day and age, I feel like we meet so many people through the internet and we text a lot and things like that. But these are 2 socially anxious people who end up having a relationship through text. So I just had to snatch that up. Again, a beautiful cover. Mary H.K. Choi does not disappoint. Definitely after I read Permanent Record and Emergency Contact, if I do enjoy Mary H.K. Choi's writing style, I will definitely pick up her new book, Yoke, which I think came out in the month of March, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Again, another outstanding cover. She really knows what's up, and she doesn't disappoint. Next is a book that I actually really wanted to read this year. It was actually part of like my initial TBR that I had set for myself in 2021, but I was trying to buy less books, especially hardbacks and more expensive books. So I was so excited that this book was finally in stock at Bookoutlet. Since this book came out in June, I didn't think Bookoutlet would have it right away, but here we are, and it is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. And just, first of all, outstanding cover. We love a yellow moment, just beautiful with the nice blue. But basically this is a story about sirens. So basically they're mermaids / sirens, and some people are in this, it's like I'm set in a more modern society, but they are not viewed positively. They are marginalized. So mermaids have gone into hiding and they live among us. But basically the story follows the main character, and one of her favorite, I think, celebrities or YouTubers or some sort of figure ends up coming out as a mermaid, and it makes this whole thing throughout the world. So this girl has to grapple with being a lonely mermaid. She just moved to Portland in a very white community, and she is Black. So she has that loneliness as a mermaid, but also as a Black woman. So I think it's a perfect way to like add in race issues into a fantasy story. And then it's urban as well. And Portland is a city I've always wanted to visit and I feel so intrigued about. So this like checked every mark. And as I've mentioned about 15,000 times already, melanin on the cover will always win for me. Like literally nothing better. So yeah, the fact that this was at Bookoutlet was, whoo, I was way too excited. That was in the cart in 0.5 seconds. So the next book, again, following that trend of having people of color as authors and own voices stories, we have Darius the Great Is Not Okay. So this story basically follows this Iranian boy who actually was born, I believe, and grew up in the States. But for the summer, he ends up going back to Iran with his family. He doesn't speak Farsi and he knows barely anything about Persian culture. So it gets to be a big culture shock and he feels kind of lonely, and he meets this other boy in the village or city that he is visiting, and they start a fast friendship. So yeah, I just loved the idea of this book. I have never read about Persian culture in books, so I'm really excited to jump into this one as a YA. I feel like I'll be learning as much as he will, and I'll be able to learn with him. So I think it's going to be a really interesting way to see it. So yeah, that was on my list also for a little bit, so I was really happy to see it on Bookoutlet. So the next book I purchased is Lovely War by Julie Berry. What a chunker. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and it's heavy and it's tall. So that would be a long story. I feel like this would be perfect for maybe like August or September. Like, I don't know, I'm getting that vibe from it, like end of summer days. But basically, Lovely War, as you can tell from the title, it is set during a war, and not just one war, two wars during World War One and World War Two in Europe. And it's the story of these people. There's romance, there's friendship, there's family, but there's also the gods, like the Greek gods as we know. I believe Aphrodite is the main like god that is talked about in the story. So I find it so interesting how they added in the Greek gods into the story. And I'm really excited to see how they're going to go about it. I know this is one of my other favorite booktubers, Haley in Bookland. It is also one of her favorite books. I think it was her favorite books of 2020, and she's spoken so highly of it. So yeah, I saw it there and I was like, $5 for a hardback this thick. Let's go, girl. Let's get it. The next book I ended up purchasing is actually Obsidio from the Illuminae Files trilogy. I've said in a previous video, I started the first Illuminae Files book of the series, which is Illuminae, and I did purchase Gemina. I had seen, before I even purchased Gemina, when I had just started Illuminae, I saw Obsidio was on Bookoutlet. I actually got an email for it, like, they can read my mind. And it was like $6, I think, or $5 for this chunker in paperback. So I ended up purchasing Gemina then at the same time, but not from Bookoutlet since they didn't have it. But now my series is complete and I'll be able to read the entire books in 2020, finish Illuminae, and then read Gemini and Obsidio. The next book I'm going to show you guys is actually a book that I did not hear that much about. I think I heard the synopsis in one video and I was just hooked and I knew I had to get the book. It wasn't so much of a priority, but seeing it on Bookoutlet for like $4, I felt like it was a sign. And it is The Weight of Our Sky by Anna Alkaf. And basically it is a story, it is a YA, I believe, if not middle grade, but I'm pretty sure it's YA. And just, let's take a pause. Let's look at this beautiful illustration because just, wow. And it continues to the book like that, like to the spine, which I always love so much that they do that in books. But basically it is the story set in Kuala Lumpur. Again, I said I wanted to read Asian stories set in Asian settings, so I followed through. But basically there is a war between the Malaysians and the Chinese in Kuala Lumpur. And this Malaysian girl has to trust this Chinese boy to get her through the fiery, war-ridden city so she can find her mother. I believe there's some sort of fantastical element. I believe she has some sort of power. I've tried to keep myself a little bit in the dark with this one because since it's such a short book, I feel like the story will be able to tell itself, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to know too much getting into it, but just with that sort of blurb, I was like, that sounds hella interesting. And again, Asian voices, I think is just the best. The next book I ended up purchasing is actually Frankly in Love by David Yoon. Another romance book in an Asian-owned voices story, but just, first of all, fantastic cover. Like I said, I love a yellow moment, but then look at it. It's sprayed edges. Can you believe I paid $5 for this? That is another book that I wanted in hardback for the sprayed edges. And I was like, Gabby, you ain't spending like $30 or $25 or however much it is just to have some sprayed edges, okay? I am reasonable sometimes. But it was on Bookoutlet, so I was like, let's get it. Basically, Frankly in Love is the story of the main character, Frank Lee. He is the son of Korean immigrants. I believe he was born in the States. If not, he moved when he was very little. And his family really wants him to get with an Asian girl and stay within his race. And I think specifically they want him to date only a good Korean girl. If you're part of a minority, you've heard those words before. I want you to meet a good blah 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 boy or a good blah 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 girl. I was lucky my parents weren't like that, but I know the vibe. So he ends up dating one of his close friends, well, fake dating one of his close friends, because he ends up getting feelings for this white girl that he meets. So he wants to be able to date her and go out on dates and all that without his parents being mad that he's dating a white girl. So he gets his best friend, who is Korean, to pretend to be his girlfriend while he goes and sneaks out to see his white girlfriend. I know it's going to be an incredible story. I've only heard great things about David Yoon and this story, so very excited. And I'm very excited to see this sort of story play out. Like I said, as a minority, I do know the stress of like dating within your own race, and I think it's a super cool way to go about it. Not too dark, but still with like still light, without it being too much of a critical look on it. I'm just really excited for that. And so the last book I got in this book haul is actually Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I do own her book, The Death of Vivek Oji, which I have not read yet. I need to read it because I bought it a while ago, earlier this year. But yeah, I really wanted to snatch Pet since it was on Bookoutlet. And again, melanin on the cover, we know it, don't need to say it, okay? And Akwaeke Emezi is a person of color themselves. This is a story of a girl. Monsters, it's sort of a monster story. I think monsters are supposed to be extinct in this world. Monsters like existed. But now she ends up finding a monster herself in her town, and so she doesn't understand why. And yeah, she goes on the hunt. And I think it's going to be really interesting. And again, it's a really short read. I feel like I could read this like this summer, like by the pool or something, really fast. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that little bell icon so you can be notified of every new video. Please tell me in the comments, have you been on a book haul? Are you going on a book battle like I am? I would love to find out. All my socials are down below, and don't forget other resources to learn, educate yourself, help, and to donate to help the AAPI community will also be linked down below. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.